there's a different strategy in my head, at least, for when somebody's disrespecting versus dismissing.
Love it.
One says, I want to hit you. The other says, I'm ignoring your blows.
Yes.
So let's say if somebody's being dismissive first, that means I'm saying something to you and you're just refusing to acknowledge it. Very different. That's one, if this person is worth being in your life, I don't know why you'd be worried about comments from somebody who don't matter.
Yes.
You know, if you're not going to take advice from them, are you really going to let their dismissiveness live in your head?
Yeah.
So you have to kind of prioritize where they are in your chart. But dismissiveness is something that you address in a true conversation, where you say, I'd like to talk about something important to me. When I mentioned these comments yesterday, I felt dismissive, and I'm not looking for you to solve anything. I just need to let you know. And when we say things like, I'm not looking for you to solve it, I don't need you to fix the problem, you're letting them know ahead of time, you're just wanting to feel heard on it. Now, that's kind of dismissiveness. Disrespect is much more like a knife fight. When somebody jabs you, you typically want to jab back. And that's natural, that's normal. And disrespect, when somebody disrespects you, says something that's disrespectful, the true power move is not in saying something real quick or catty and smart aleck and having that zinger, because it's going to have an empty taste. The power comes in being silent. And you can let their words just hang. They say something ugly to you, and you just choose to say nothing for 8 to 10 seconds. But then they feel kind of silly, because what they were hoping for was that dopamine. They were looking for that strike back. They were looking for you to engage in it. And when you don't, well, then you just don't make it all that fun. And then they realize they're the bad person. Now they're the one probably that's going to be first to apologize, if they're somebody even worth being in your life at all. But when somebody says something disrespectful, you either, there's two different ways I like to do it. You can either ask them to repeat what they said, or you can repeat it for them. Or, well, let's add a third, and it's probably best for this conversation, is you ask questions based on what they said. So if it's, did you mean for that to sound rude? Did you mean for that to sound disrespectful? What response were you hoping I'd give here? Did that feel good to say? Little things that, it's not you actually responding to what they said. You're asking a question. You're being a mirror for them in that moment. So if you could say, did you mean for that to embarrass me? I mean, what are they going to say? Who's the one who looks more in control?
Yeah.
The one who threw the arrow, or the one who's sitting and asking the question?
And let me ask you, do those three options come after we're silent, as you were describing?
Yeah.
So it's like silent treatment, let it sit, and then that follows.
Yeah. Well, the silence is for you, not for them.
I was going to ask you, I mean, this is great advice. I'm sitting there going, this is great. However, on behalf of the audience, it's also like, I think you're a little bit more wired for that than a lot of people. So for the people that aren't wired that way, what do we have to do emotionally to be able to do what you just said? Which I agree with your advice. I think it's absolutely right. And I'm going, Lord Jesus, please help me to do that more.
Yeah.
But what is your advice on that?
It's rule number 1 in my book. It's say it with control. And to do that, what you do is you let your first word be your breath. Let your breath be the first word that you say.
Okay.
And that's going to set you up to control that nervous system, that fight or flight. You're not looking for what's going to control them. You're not looking for that zinger that's going to hit them in the face. You're looking for what's going to control you.
Yes.
And so when you can use your breath, that's going to allow you to just sit. It's not for them, it's for you. But also it works because in that silence, they're going to fill the space in their head for you. So many times somebody says something, and all of a sudden in the silence, they heard it back. And they say, I'm sorry, I shouldn't have said that. Or that was rude of me. Or you didn't have to say anything.
Wow.
Because they heard it back. So you often have to just leave that space for their words to echo. I mean, and it goes back into the confidence. Rule 2 is I have it say it with confidence. And it works because you have the confidence of knowing I don't have to swing at that pitch. We get in this mindset. I think our whole, really the world right now is so used to swinging at pitches, especially foul balls. I mean, just we love to hit the foul balls. And so just because somebody threw something disrespectful doesn't mean you have to swing. Let it go by.
Oh,
you don't have
good.
to catch it. You don't have to throw it back.
That's good.
So you just let it go.
The first word be your breath.
First word be your breath. And
Wow.
that keeps your logical, as you said, that analytical side engaged rather than you getting caught up. Because what will happen is you hold your breath. You hold your breath and you get real agitated. All of a sudden your shoulders get tense. And before you know it, because you're not breathing, that's why you yell. Your body's wanting to release all that tension. When really it's just a bid for connection.